Hey everybody, it's Jaya.
And Ian.
And we've been doing a 52-week YouTube sex life makeover
This
dance.
is like you're going to go through the time machine, the portal, and come out like sexually evolved and free.
Yes, so if you haven't seen all our videos, please go back, watch them, go through the time machine of all of our juicy sexual yumminess so that you can pop out awesome and sexy and juicy and passionate.
Exactly.
Yes.
You're in the Jaya-nator.
Okay, so we are discussing today two big things that hold men back from really opening up sexually and really learning about sex, unleashing their sexual freedom, and going for it. So what keeps us from being sexually expressed?
Us, men. Or the masculine.
The masculine, those of us who are in strong masculine energy. There's a gender galaxy out there, so it's not just so black and white, and I think everybody suffers from a lot of these. So let's talk about the men. I think there's two big things, and I tried to break it down into more, but really it just came back to especially this first one, fear. I mean, there is just so much fear. It's like fear of failing, fear of not being good enough, fear of I'm imposing my sexuality on somebody.
Confidence fear, there's a lot of fear of being consumed. So if I open up and I reveal myself to this woman, then essentially she's going to swallow my soul.
Like a succubus.
Yeah, total succubus.
There's fear of vulnerability, fear of intimacy.
Fear of not going to match up, I'm not going to meet her standards, I'm not going to be enough. I mean, that's like one of the root things at the bottom of a lot of these is that fear of I'm not enough.
Mm-hmm. I think, too, there's a fear of, and I think it's meaning making that creates the fear of if I kiss her, then that means X. If I go to this next step, then that means that now we're married.
Yeah, there's a lot of societal beliefs. I mean, I certainly had these beliefs when I was younger of like what it meant if I kissed a girl. Well, now that means I'm dating her. Now we're going out. Now I've got to commit myself to her. And I wasn't even that young, actually, when I had those beliefs in my 20s, as opposed to moving into a place of ownership of that, and that this is a human with her own desires, with her own needs, her own concerns and belief systems. And we're going to have deeper conversations too.
So there's the fear of the conversation about sex. There's sexual scarcity. So it's like, if I really open up, then maybe I'm never going to have sex again. I mean, remember when you sort of started making some decisions, it was like, oh, nobody's going to want to be with me.
Yeah, we have an aspect of our relationship around open relationship. And before I met Jaya, I actually made the decision to go into becoming polyamorous. And in that choice, a lot of these fears came up. Actually, the fear that I'm a jerk, that it was just an honest claim. Like, I didn't believe monogamy was working for me, and I needed to explore. And in that exploration, I was going to declare it. I was going to be very forthright, very authentic, and I was sure in being authentic and declared and forthright about my sexual power, about my desire, I was going to be judged. Women would be like, this guy's a jerk. He just wants to get in my pants, and they would run the other way. And
you found out the opposite was true.
Yes. Honesty is an aphrodisiac.
Honesty is an aphrodisiac. So that'll help you maybe overcome some of your fears. Which leads to shame. And I think part of what was coming up for you was also shame about if I'm freely expressed this way, if I really let people know what I'm coming up against, I'm going to be judged as bad, wrong, all these kinds of things. Because essentially it's that deep core belief of I'm not good enough. I'm dirty, wrong, bad.
The thoughts I have, the actions I take, then translate to I am bad. I am a jerk. I am a nasty, dirty, awful human being for having desire and sexual power.
Or I will be perceived as those things as well. And so there's the fear of the perception of those things, and then there's the actual statements in your head that you say. I am a bad lover. I can't satisfy a woman. When you start going into that dialogue, that's when we get into really dangerous places, are those I am stories. And so I really want to invite you this week, just like I did with the ladies last week, to look at what are your stories that you're telling yourself will happen if you start really expressing yourself freely. And when I talk about freedom of self-expression, I'm not talking about like you're going to do things that you're not getting consent from people, like we still need to be in the conversation around, consent. There still needs to be a yes from a partner. It's not that we're going to impose that on people, but that we are going to look at where am I not even asking? Where am I not even allowing myself to go that story. And that's what I'm really interested in, is like, where am I not learning about sex, or where am I not expressing myself, or where am I not asking because I have these beliefs that if I do this, if I let myself be sexually free, or if I express myself sexually, then XYZ. What's the story that you tell yourself? That's your assignment this week.
And if it's a new conversation to you, because you may not have articulated any of this stuff to yourself before, if it's a new conversation, one way to get into it would be to journal. So you could just, it's your journal. It's your private time with yourself. So
if you're afraid your kids are going to find it, get one with a lock.
Yeah, and lock it in a drawer with a lock. But, you can write down, just go into free-forming. What are your desires? What is the thing that would, if you were unleashing yourself, the thing you'd just be curious about or you think you'd want to do? Write those down, and then go into your body, go into what you're feeling around expressing those things. And that's the clue of where your threshold of shame, fear, guilt, all of that is.
All right. Well, go ahead and subscribe, write comments below. Let us know what you're up to. And until next time,
fill your life with pleasure.